Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. Have you ever fallen in love? It's a beautiful feeling, isn't it? The butterflies in your stomach, the constant thoughts of your significant other, and the feeling of being on top of the world. But what about the dark side of falling in love? The side that nobody talks about? Today, we're going to explore the dark side of falling in love and provide you with valuable insights and tips to help you navigate through it. Before we get into the video, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Also, if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps me out a lot. Thank you so much for your support. Before we dive deep into this video, let me share a beautiful quote that I like about love. Love is an untamed force. When we try to control it, it destroys us. When we try to imprison it, it enslaves us. When we try to understand it, it leaves us feeling lost and confused. Now, let's talk about the dark side of falling in love. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm sure you've heard of the phrase love is blind, right? It means that when we fall in love with someone, we tend to overlook their flaws and focus on their positive qualities. We also tend to idealize them and project our hopes and fantasies onto them. This can make us feel happy and excited, but it can also make us vulnerable and naive. We might ignore the red flags that indicate that the person we love is not good for us or that the relationship is unhealthy. We might also lose ourselves in the process of falling in love and neglect our own needs and goals. When we first fall in love, we enter the infatuation stage. This is the stage where we feel like we're on cloud nine and everything seems perfect. We're so in love with our partner that we can't see any flaws. However, this stage is temporary, and it's important to recognize that it will eventually fade away. As the infatuation stage fades away, we start to see our partner's flaws. We realize that they're not perfect and that they have their own set of issues. This can be a difficult time for couples as they start to question whether they're truly compatible. As we start to see our partner's flaws, we may try to change them, we may try to control them, or we may try to change ourselves to fit their expectations. This can lead to a power struggle, where both partners are trying to assert their dominance, hence they suffer. So what are some of the dark sides of falling in love? If you don't know, then let me tell you some dark sides of love. The first one is attachment. Attachment is the emotional bond that we form with someone we love. It can be a source of comfort and security, but it can also be a source of pain and suffering. When we are attached to someone, we become dependent on them for our happiness and well-being. We might fear losing them or being rejected by them. We might also become possessive and jealous of them. This can lead to anxiety, insecurity, and resentment in the relationship. The second one is sacrifice. Sacrifice is the act of giving up something valuable for someone we love. It can be a sign of generosity and commitment, but it can also be a sign of self-denial and martyrdom. When we sacrifice too much for someone we love, we might lose our sense of identity and autonomy. We might also resent them for taking away our freedom and happiness. This can lead to bitterness, anger, and regret in the relationship. The third one is compromise. Compromise is the act of finding a middle ground between two conflicting opinions or desires. It can be a sign of respect and cooperation, but it can also be a sign of conformity and submission. When we compromise too much for someone we love, we might lose our sense of integrity and authenticity. We might also feel dissatisfied and unhappy with the outcome. This can lead to frustration, disappointment, and disillusionment in the relationship. The third one is compromise. Compromise is the act of finding a middle ground between two conflicting opinions or desires. It can be a sign of respect and cooperation, but it can also be a sign of conformity and submission. When we compromise too much for someone we love, we might lose our sense of integrity and authenticity. We might also feel dissatisfied and unhappy with the outcome. This can lead to frustration, disappointment, and disillusionment in the relationship. The fourth one is change. Change is the act of becoming different or making something different. It can be a sign of growth and adaptation, but it can also be a sign of loss and instability. When we change too much for someone we love, we might lose our sense of self and direction. We might also feel insecure and uncertain about the future. This can lead to confusion, anxiety, and depression in the relationship. The fifth one is hurt. Hurt is the act of causing or experiencing physical or emotional pain or distress. It can be a sign of vulnerability and empathy, but it can also be a sign of harm and abuse. When we hurt or get hurt by someone we love, we might lose our sense of trust and safety. We might also feel angry and betrayed by them. This can lead to resentment, guilt, and fear in the relationship. These are just some of the dark sides of falling in love that you might encounter or experience at some point in your life. Of course, not all relationships are doomed to fail or suffer from these problems. There are many healthy and happy relationships out there that are based on mutual respect, understanding, support, and affection. So we have discussed about dark sides. Now let's see how can you avoid these dark sides. Here are some tips. The first tip is self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to recognize your own thoughts, feelings, needs, values, strengths, weaknesses, and goals. It can help you understand yourself better and make better decisions for yourself. It can also help you communicate your needs and expectations clearly and respectfully to your partner. The second tip is self-care. Self-care is the act of taking care of your own physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. It can help you maintain your health and happiness and cope with stress and challenges. It can also help you preserve your identity and autonomy and prevent you from losing yourself in the relationship. The third tip is self-love. Self-love is the act of accepting, appreciating, and respecting yourself for who you are. It can help you boost your self-esteem and confidence and overcome your insecurities and fears. It can also help you attract and keep someone who loves you for who you are and not for who they want you to be. The fourth tip is balance. Balance is the act of finding a healthy and harmonious proportion between different aspects of your life. It can help you avoid extremes and excesses and achieve moderation and stability. It can also help you prioritize your needs and goals and manage your time and energy effectively. The fifth tip is boundaries. Boundaries are the limits that you set for yourself and others in terms of what you are comfortable with and what you are not. They can help you protect your rights and interests and prevent violations and abuses. They can also help you respect your partner's rights and interests and prevent conflicts and misunderstandings. These are some of the tips that can help you avoid dark sides of falling in love. Of course, there are many more tips that you can find online or from books or experts. But the most important thing is to remember that love is not only a feeling, but also a choice. You have the power to choose who you love, how you love, and why you love. So that's it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful and informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video.